The night sky above Earth looked peaceful. Stars were shining like diamonds, and the blue planet seemed small and quiet in the endless dark. To most people, Earth was just home, nothing more. But to those who watched from far away, Earth was something different. In a hidden part of the galaxy, a fleet of alien ships drifted silently in space. Their bodies were tall, thin, and covered in gray skin. Their eyes glowed with pale yellow light, sharp and cold. These were the Kortal, one of the oldest spacefaring races in the Orion Arm. For thousands of years, they had conquered weaker worlds, taken resources, and enslaved entire species. To them, Earth was not special, just another small blue-green rock filled with soft creatures. No advanced weapons, no great fleets, no empire. Earth looked weak, defenseless. But there was a problem. The Kortal had a library of records detailing every world in the galaxy they had mapped. In those records, Earth was marked with one strange word in their language: forbidden. Their captains whispered about it. Their soldiers questioned it, but no one had an answer. Why would such a weak world be forbidden? Why had no one conquered it when it was clearly helpless? On one ship, Captain Dravek stared at the image of Earth on his display screen. The planet rotated slowly, oceans glimmering under sunlight. He tilted his head, his thin mouth curling in frustration. "Look at them," he said to his second-in-command. "No planetary defense grid, no orbital cannons. Their ships are primitive, still burning chemical fire. They cannot fight us, and yet no one dares to touch them. Why?" His second, a younger officer, shifted nervously. "The records say nothing, Captain, only rumors." Dravek's voice dropped. "Rumors?" The officer nodded. "Some speak of invisible guardians. Others say Earth is protected by ancient machines hidden beneath their seas. A few even whisper that humans themselves are more dangerous than they look." The captain let out a dry laugh. "Humans? Dangerous? I have seen their bodies. Fragile bones, soft flesh. They are slower than us, weaker than us. They have not even left their own system." Still, Dravek's laugh faded as he stared at the planet. Something about it made his chest tighten. A silent warning, like a voice telling him to stay away. He did not like it. In the control deck, screens flickered with signals from Earth. Human satellites beamed out messages, television broadcasts, digital noise, music, news, stories. So much noise that it flooded the ship's receivers. One transmission repeated again and again, a human song, traveling into space. It was slow, heavy with emotion, about struggle and survival. The crew listened, silent for once. "Strange creatures," Dravek muttered. "They fill the stars with their feelings, not their strength." But then something unexpected happened. Another signal cut through the noise. Not a song, not a broadcast, a message. It was short, clear, and direct. It repeated in dozens of human languages. "We are here. We are not afraid." The alien crew froze. Dravek's eyes narrowed. "Translate it again." "Make sure," the officer did. The result was the same. Humans, sending out a warning wrapped in simple words. The captain's hands tightened on the console. This was not what he expected from a species that looked weak. This was not the voice of prey. It was the voice of something else. Something that believed it was dangerous, even when it appeared defenseless. The younger officer leaned closer. His voice dropped to a whisper. "Captain, maybe that is the reason. Maybe that is why no one touches them." The control deck grew quiet. Only the hum of the ship's engines filled the silence. Dravek turned back to the glowing image of Earth. His yellow eyes reflected the blue oceans of the small planet. For the first time, he felt something he had not felt in centuries of war. Doubt. Captain Dravek could not sleep. The words from Earth's signal repeated in his mind. "We are here. We are not afraid." The more he thought about it, the more uneasy he felt. How could a species with no great fleet, no advanced weapons, dare to say such words? Inside the command ship, the crew worked quietly, but the silence was heavy. Everyone had heard the message. Everyone felt the same strange pressure, as if unseen eyes were watching them. Dravek decided he needed answers. Real answers. He ordered the ship's data core to open the forbidden records, files locked by their empire long ago, files not meant for common soldiers. The security systems hesitated, warning him. Accessing the records was dangerous. Many captains had been punished for even trying, but Dravek's voice was sharp. Override. I am captain. By my authority, open them. The screen flickered. Old data appeared, dusty with time. Strange reports, fragments of logs, half-broken recordings. The words glowed in alien script, slowly translating. The first record was simple. Contact with Earth, year 492 of the Kortal Empire. Dravek read carefully. It spoke of a scout ship sent to survey the small blue world. The scouts found early human civilization, tribes, kingdoms, empires still fighting with swords and arrows. Humans were primitive, vulnerable, easy prey. The scout ship never returned. The log ended with a single word, lost. The second record told of another attempt centuries later. A raider fleet of 3 ships entered Earth's orbit. They watched the humans build great cities, still without space travel, still weak. The raiders prepared to strike. But something happened. The log was broken, full of static. But Dravek could make out screams, alarms, and one desperate transmission. They are not what they seem. The humans are... Then silence. All 3 ships were gone. No wreckage was ever found. Dravek's eyes narrowed. His second officer shifted nervously beside him. Captain, this cannot be true. Humans cannot do this. They had no space weapons in those years. The captain did not answer. He opened the next record. It was the strangest yet. A high-ranking general wrote, Earth is to be avoided, not attacked, not studied, not touched. The humans have something. We do not understand it. But those who try to conquer them vanish. Let the planet stay. Mark it as forbidden. Dravek leaned back in his chair, his skin cold. He had fought countless enemies. He had seen planets burn. But he had never seen his empire leave a world alone out of fear. Why Earth? His crew began whispering among themselves. Some said humans had hidden allies, ancient machines, or secret gods. Others said humans were cursed, protected by forces beyond science. The younger officer looked at Dravek with wide eyes. Captain, maybe we should leave. If the Empire forbids this world, perhaps there is a reason. Dravek's jaw tightened. Fear was spreading through his crew. That was dangerous. Fear destroyed discipline. No, he said firmly. We will not run. Fear is for prey. We are hunters. We will find the truth. He ordered the ship closer to Earth's orbit. As they approached, more signals from Earth filled their screens. News reports, movies, stories of humans fighting wars, rising from disasters, rebuilding stronger every time. The aliens watched in silence as images of human soldiers flashed by, men and women in mud and blood, never giving up, entire cities destroyed by war yet rebuilt, people starving yet surviving. One crew member whispered, They fight even when they should fall. They do not surrender. Another added, Their history is endless war, but they always win in the end. Dravek's eyes darkened. He began to understand. Maybe humans did not need fleets or cannons. Maybe their weapon was something else, something inside them. Still, he needed proof. Prepare a probe, Dravek commanded. We will test them, quietly. The crew hesitated, but obeyed. A small black probe was launched, invisible to human eyes. It entered Earth's atmosphere, scanning their cities, their oceans, their deserts. For a few minutes, everything was normal. Data came back. Technology weak, weapons primitive, defenses almost nothing. Then, suddenly, the probe went dark. The crew gasped. What happened? Dravek's eyes widened. The probe had been erased. Not destroyed, not shot down, simply gone. No signal, no debris, as if it had never existed. The captain's hands tightened into fists. He whispered almost to himself, What are you, humans? The ship grew silent. Every alien on board felt the same cold shiver. Earth looked small and weak, but something inside it, something unseen, was powerful enough to erase their technology in seconds. Dravek leaned closer to the screen, watching Earth spin in the dark, and for the first time, he wondered if the humans had been watching them all along. The Kortal ship drifted silently above Earth. Blue oceans and green continents turned slowly beneath them. From orbit, the planet looked harmless. Too harmless. Captain Dravek stared at the dark screen where the probe's signal had vanished. His mind was restless. Probes did not simply disappear. Something had erased it, clean and perfect. As if it had never been launched, his crew whispered in fear. "Captain, this world is dangerous. Please, we should leave before it notices us." "They are only humans," Dravek growled. "Weak creatures of flesh and bone. They cannot touch us in space." But even as he spoke, he felt doubt twisting inside him. Dravek was not the kind of leader who fled from mysteries. He wanted answers, and there was only one way to get them. Direct contact. "Prepare a signal," he ordered. "We will speak to them." The crew hesitated. Contacting humans was forbidden by their empire, but Dravek's voice carried the weight of command. No one argued. A tight beam transmission was aimed toward Earth, hidden from other ships in the galaxy. The message was simple, translated into human languages by the ship's AI, humans of Earth. "You are weak, but you send warnings into the stars. Who protects you? Who hides your power?" The crew held their breath. Minutes passed. The planet below remained silent, then static. A reply broke through, calm and steady, in the voice of a human woman. "This is Earth. We do not need protection. We are enough." The crew froze. Dravek leaned forward, eyes narrowing. "Send another question. Ask who erased our probe." The message was sent. Again, silence. Again, static. Then the same voice returned, this time colder. "Do not test us again." The words echoed across the deck. The crew shivered. Some lowered their heads, refusing to meet the captain's eyes. One officer whispered, "They knew. They knew about the probe. They watched us." Dravek clenched his jaw. He refused to believe fear. He refused to bow to ghosts. "Launch another probe," he ordered. "Captain," the officer began. "Do it," Dravek snapped. The second probe was launched, hidden behind stealth systems older than most civilizations. It entered the atmosphere quietly, scanning a remote desert where no human cities were near. For 5 minutes, data streamed back, sand, stone, air, normal. Then, without warning, the feed changed. The desert was gone. On the screen, the probe now showed a pair of human eyes, blue eyes, cold, unblinking. Staring directly into the probe's camera, the crew gasped in horror. The probe had been found. A voice came through the probe's speaker. "Calm. Male this time. We warned you." The screen went black. The probe vanished. Some crew members jumped from their seats. Others whispered prayers to their ancestors. Dravek forced himself to stay calm, though his chest burned with unease. "This is impossible," he muttered. "No primitive race can do this." "No one can." His second officer's voice shook. "Captain, maybe the stories are true. Maybe humans are protected by something beyond us, something ancient." But Dravek shook his head. "No, I saw their cities, their weapons. They are fragile. They bleed, they die. I will not believe they are gods." Yet even as he spoke, he could not forget those human eyes on the probe's screen, eyes that looked not afraid, but angry. That night, the ship remained in silent orbit. No one slept. The crew whispered about curses, guardians, and ghosts. At dawn, Earth sent one more signal. No voice this time, only text. It repeated in every human language. "You have one chance. Leave, or learn why no one touches Earth." The crew begged Dravek to retreat. "Captain, we must obey. We must leave before it is too late." But Dravek's pride burned brighter than his fear. He had spent centuries breaking empires, conquering armies, enslaving races. He would not be frightened by a world of weak flesh. He turned to his crew, his voice hard. "No, we stay. Tomorrow, we test them not with probes, but with soldiers." The crew gasped. Some looked terrified, others shocked. But no one dared to refuse as the alien ship circled the silent Earth. Everyone felt the same cold truth in their bones. Tomorrow, they would learn what it meant to provoke humans. The alien ship hung above Earth like a silent shadow. Its weapons were armed, its engines humming low. Inside, the crew was restless. Fear spread like smoke, but none dared to defy their captain. Captain Dravek stood tall in the command chamber. His yellow eyes glowed with pride and anger. He had decided. Humans would be tested, not with probes, but with soldiers. "Prepare a landing squad," he ordered. "We will see what these creatures really are." The crew obeyed, though their hands trembled. A squad of 12 Kortal soldiers gathered in the hangar. Their armor was dark silver, sharp and strong. Plasma rifles hummed in their hands. These were elite warriors, veterans who had conquered countless worlds. They were not afraid of humans. Not yet. The landing craft detached from the mothership and descended into Earth's atmosphere. Clouds parted as fire licked the hull. The soldiers sat in silence, eyes fixed forward, jaws tight. Finally, the craft broke through the sky and landed in a remote valley. Tall trees surrounded them, and a river cut through the rocks. There were no human cities here. No defenses. It was perfect. The hatch hissed open. The soldiers marched out, weapons raised. Their boots sank into Earth's soil for the first time. At first, everything was quiet. Birds scattered into the trees. The river rushed softly. The valley seemed empty. One soldier spoke through the comms. "No resistance, Captain." "No humans detected," Dravek's voice crackled in reply. "Good. Search the area. Take samples. Show me these fragile creatures are nothing." The squad spread out. Scanners swept across the ground, reading the air, the plants, the water. Everything was ordinary. Too ordinary. Then one soldier froze. His scanner beeped wildly. "Captain, I am detecting life signs. Many of them. Closing in fast." The others raised their rifles. Shapes moved in the trees. Shadows darted between trunks. The forest seemed alive with motion, and then they came. Humans, but not in armies. Not with tanks or guns. These were hunters, dressed in simple clothes, their eyes sharp, their movements swift. They carried only bows, knives, even stones. The soldiers laughed. "These are the ones we feared?" Dravek listened from orbit, silent. The first human stepped forward. He was tall, scarred, with eyes burning like fire. He spoke loudly in his own language, words the soldiers' translators quickly converted. "Leave our world. The aliens raised their rifles." "Primitive fool," one soldier sneered. "You cannot fight us." He fired. A bolt of plasma cut through the air, straight at the human's chest. But the man did not fall. The blast vanished before touching him, as if swallowed by the air itself. The valley glowed faintly, like invisible walls had awakened. The soldiers froze. What is this?" Then the humans moved. They charged, faster than expected. Stones flew, arrows sliced, knives flashed. The Kortal fired in panic, but their weapons sputtered, their energy drained. The valley itself seemed to eat their power. One by one, the soldiers were dragged down. Their armor cracked. Their rifles broke. And the humans, fragile humans, fought like wolves. On the ship, Dravek listened to screams. His crew watched in horror as the soldier signals blinked out one by one. 12 soldiers gone," an officer whispered. "All of them gone." The last transmission came from the squad leader. His voice was broken, terrified. "Captain, they are not weak. They are not prey. The humans are." The line went dead. Silence filled the command deck. Every crew member stared at Dravek, their eyes wide with fear. "Captain," one whispered, "we must leave. They are not natural. Did you see how they fought? Their weapons, our weapons, failed." Dravek stood frozen, fists clenched. His pride cracked, but his anger grew. "No," he growled. "This is trickery. Humans cannot destroy my soldiers. They are using hidden machines, technology buried under their soil. But deep inside, Dravek knew it was not machines. It was the humans themselves." Down on Earth, the valley was quiet again. The hunters stood among broken alien armor. Their eyes lifted toward the sky. One of them raised a hand, pointing straight at the alien ship. And Dravek felt a chill. It was as if the humans were saying, "We see you. We are waiting." The Kortal mothership floated in silence above Earth. Inside, the crew was pale with fear. 12 of their strongest soldiers had gone down to the surface, and none had returned. Captain Dravek paced across the command deck, his armor glinting under the cold light. His pride was bleeding. For centuries he had conquered without resistance. But this small blue planet, so weak, so defenseless, had humiliated him. He would not allow it. "Prepare the fleet," Dravek ordered. "We strike at full power. We will burn their cities and tear the truth from their ashes." The crew hesitated. Some lowered their heads, whispering among themselves. One officer finally spoke. His voice was trembling. "Captain, the records forbid this. Our empire left Earth alone for a reason. If we disobey," Dravek's voice cut like a blade. "Do you fear myths? Do you fear stories of ghosts? We are warriors. We take what we want. And I will not be mocked by a world of animals." The order went out. Across the fleet, warships powered up their cannons. Energy hummed. Shadows passed over Earth's surface as the alien armada prepared to fire. On Earth, humans watched the sky. In cities, in villages, on fields and seas, they looked upward. They saw the black shapes of alien ships blotting out the stars. But they did not scream. They did not run. They simply watched. From orbit, Dravek saw them, billions of humans standing under his guns, silent and steady. It made his chest tighten. Why weren't they afraid? "Fire!" Dravek commanded. The first volley of plasma rained down. Bolts of white-hot energy streaked through the atmosphere, aimed at human cities. The crew leaned forward, expecting fire, destruction, screams. But the blasts never touched Earth. The plasma bolts vanished, erased in mid-air, as if the sky itself had swallowed them. Not even a ripple remained. The crew gasped. Dravek's fists clenched. "Impossible!" "Fire again!" More volleys. More power. The sky lit with alien fire. But again, nothing. The energy simply dissolved, gone without a trace. Then something happened that froze every alien heart. The humans looked back, not with weapons, not with ships, just with their eyes. From orbit, the crew watched in terror as billions of humans turned their heads upward, staring into the sky, staring directly at them. And somehow, impossibly, the aliens felt it. They felt the humans' eyes inside their minds, pressing like invisible weight. One crew member dropped to his knees. "They see us. They see me," another screamed. "Captain, they are inside. Inside my head." Dravek's own vision blurred. For a moment, he saw not the command deck, but flashes of human history. Wars, fires, cities rebuilt, people standing against impossible odds. He felt their will, sharp as a blade, and then he understood. Earth was not defended by machines, fleets, or gods. Earth was defended by humans themselves, their will to fight, to endure, to rise no matter how many times they were struck down. That will was not just history. It was something more, something the Kortal could not explain. It was a force, raw and unbreakable, that reached beyond flesh and bone. The ship's lights flickered. Engines stalled. Systems failed. Every alien screen filled with human faces, millions of them, staring back, whispering the same words. "We are here. We are not afraid." The crew panicked. Some clawed at their helmets. Others begged their captain to retreat. Dravek's pride fought against his fear, but even he felt the crushing weight of human will pressing into his soul. For the first time in his long life of conquest, he realized he was not the predator. He was the prey. On Earth, the skies grew quiet again. The humans lowered their heads, returning to their lives as if nothing had happened. In orbit, the mighty Kortal fleet floated helplessly, their weapons dead, their engines cold, and Dravek whispered in a broken voice, the Kortal fleet drifted powerless above Earth. Their engines were dead, their weapons cold. The crew sat in silence, their eyes wide with fear. No one spoke. No one dared. Captain Dravek stood at the center of the command deck, his hands gripping the rail until his knuckles turned white. His pride was shattered. He had wanted victory. Instead, Earth had humiliated him before his own soldiers. The humans had not fired a single shot, and yet they had crushed his fleet. One officer finally broke the silence. His voice was shaking. "Captain, we must leave. If we do not, they will end us all." Dravek's eyes flashed. "Leave after this shame? No, we will find a way to fight them." But the crew looked at him differently now. No longer with respect. No longer with obedience. Only with fear and doubt. Another officer stood. His face was pale, his body trembling. "Captain, you saw what we all saw. Humans are not prey. They are something else. Something our empire has feared for centuries. That is why Earth is forbidden. That is why no one returns," Dravex snarled. "Superstition? They trick us with illusions. They use hidden power, machines we cannot see. I will not bow to myths," the crew murmured in anger. Some shouted back. "They erased our soldiers. They killed our probes. They stopped our weapons like they were nothing. They are inside our minds, Captain." The command deck filled with chaos. For the first time, Dravek's control was breaking. His second in command, the younger officer who had always warned him, stepped forward. His voice was calm but sharp. "Captain, your pride blinds you. If we stay, we all die. If we disobey the Empire's old warning, we are fools. Earth must remain forbidden." Dravek's claws tightened. He wanted to strike the officer down, but he saw the eyes of the crew. They were no longer his soldiers. They were ready to turn on him. For a long moment, Dravek said nothing. Then he lowered his head. His voice was low, broken. "Very well." The younger officer turned to the crew. "Prepare emergency power. We retreat. We will leave this cursed world behind." The crew obeyed quickly, almost with relief. Engines groaned, systems flickered, and slowly, painfully, the great mothership began to move. Earth grew smaller in the view screen, a quiet blue world shining in the dark. But every alien on board still felt the weight of human eyes watching them, even from afar. When the fleet reached safe distance, the younger officer gave the final command. "Mark this system in the records. Do not approach. Do not attack. Do not study. Earth is to remain forbidden." The crew echoed the word like a prayer. Forbidden. Dravek stood silent at the edge of the deck. His heart boiled with shame, but deep inside he knew the truth. Humans had defeated him without ships, without weapons. They had crushed him with nothing but their will. And now, his name would be remembered not as a conqueror, but as the captain who had dared to touch Earth and failed. As the fleet jumped into hyperspace, leaving the blue planet behind, Earth remained still and silent. To most of the galaxy, it looked defenseless. But those who had seen its true nature knew the truth. No one attacked Earth. No one ever would. Centuries passed. Stars shifted. Empires rose and fell. But in the vast halls of alien academies, in war councils and secret meetings, one warning remained unchanged. Do not touch Earth. Among the Kortal and many other species, Earth's name was spoken only in whispers. On star maps, it was marked with a red symbol, Forbidden World. Young warriors asked why, but elders silenced them. Captains warned their crews never to drift too close. Traders who passed near the solar system gave it wide space, as if afraid to wake something sleeping. Legends grew. Some said humans were watched over by invisible guardians. Others believed Earth hid ancient weapons buried under its soil. A few whispered darker tales, that humans themselves were not what they seemed, that they carried a fire no empire could ever extinguish. But no one truly knew, because no one ever returned. On Earth, life went on as if nothing had happened. Cities grew taller. Machines grew smarter. Humans reached farther into space, building stations and colonies. But still, to the rest of the galaxy, Earth looked defenseless. And that was the greatest trick of all. In quiet rooms, hidden deep in mountains and bunkers, human leaders remembered the old encounters. They knew aliens had come. They knew aliens had tried. And they knew aliens had failed. Yet humans did not brag. They did not shout their power into the stars. They let the galaxy believe Earth was weak, because weakness was the perfect shield. Far away in the Kortal Empire, an old officer told cadets the truth he had witnessed as a young man. His voice was rough, his eyes distant. "You think humans are soft. You think their weapons are small. That is what Captain Dravek believed, too. He sent soldiers to their soil. He fired fleets upon their skies. And do you know what happened? The cadets leaned in. They vanished," the old officer whispered. "Wiped away, not by fire, not by guns, by something else, something you cannot measure. The humans' will, their refusal to die, their endless fight. That is their weapon. And it is stronger than all our fleets. The young cadets shivered. One dared to ask, but if they are so powerful, why do they stay on their world? Why don't they come for us? The old officer smiled bitterly. Because they do not need to. The galaxy already fears them, and when they finally choose to leave Earth, nothing will stop them. Back on Earth, under the calm sky, humans continued to build. Rockets lifted into orbit. Colonies dug into the soil of the Moon and Mars. Slowly, carefully, humanity prepared, and still, across the stars, alien captains avoided their system. Fleets gave them space. Empires marked them as untouchable. No one attacked Earth, because somewhere, deep in their bones, every species knew the truth. The humans were waiting, and one day, when they finally stepped fully into the galaxy, the rest of the universe would learn why Earth had never been conquered, not because it was defenseless, but because it was the most dangerous world of all.